All right, everybody. Another video of a history of half-ass customs. This segment is going to be about rat rods and hot rods. So without further ado, hey everybody out there, Sam Dennehy, aka Half-Ass Customs. This is Half-Ass Presents the podcast, the history of half-ass customs. So it's been a while. I think a month and a half, maybe a month and 3 weeks that I've posted a history of video. Sorry for the delay. I won't lie, I was just being lazy. Today is Thanksgiving, so this is a special Thanksgiving episode, even though the cars have nothing to do with Thanksgiving. But with that being said, I felt like I should get back and try and post more history of videos. I've got plenty of cars to talk about, and whether you like them or not, I've got enough to talk about, so I'm just gonna keep on posting. So with that being said, let me give you a little breakdown. The Rat Rod movement, it blew up in about 2002, 2003 in the Southern California car culture, and I fell in love with it. Back in that time frame, rat rods were just unfinished hot rods. Today's rat rods are just junk. People are taking any kind of part, new or old, putting it on a old car and just turning it into a junk rod. I don't really like the term rat rod in today's terms. I liked it back then in the early days, because you could literally get, say, a 1932 Ford Roadster or even coupe or whatever. Just need to chop it, just need to channel it, Z the frame, lower it, and put the stock wheels on there and the stock engine, and you got yourself a rat rod because it wasn't finished yet. You know, you could have had it in all a metal finish, or you could have just threw a primer all over it. Either way, these cars were unfinished hot rods, basically. And the term rat rod was thrown out there just because I guess some magazine article or some publication looked at the front of it, saw the big wheels sticking out with the engine, and somehow it looked like a rat. I don't know. But in the early days, rat rod was just an unfinished hot rod, and they looked really cool unfinished. A lot of people rolled with it like that and never decided to finish it because it gave the car an attitude, kind of like a custom car compared to a stock car. You look at a custom, say Cadillac, 50s Cadillac, lowered, fat white walls, some kind of crazy maybe flame paint job, and added extras or whatever, or even a Ford shoebox, which is like a sedan Ford, and you just put some custom touches to it, and it gives the car attitude. It changes it up. It can make it look mean, like don't mess with me. And rat rods did that, because you could have a 1980s hot rod from Boyd Coddington, or you could have a rat rod. And a rat rod, in a lot of opinions, looked meaner, looked more interesting than some $100,000 car that Boyd Coddington built back in the day. Anyways, to get off of the whole what is and what isn't and where it started, let's show you the cars that I've built. I have built more than what I have. I've sold them. So what I do have, I still believe I have the biggest collection in the world of rat rods and hot rods in 187 scale. But let's take a look, and I'll give you a breakdown of each car. So to give you an introduction, this Merc right here, it's a Woodland Xenix Merc. I built this thing probably 25 years ago, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, back when I was still in California. And all I did was I chopped the top. I took the post out of the between where the door is and the roof. I lowered it, and then I put these chrome lake pipes on the side. A lot of people coined them leg pipes because when you were to get out of your car and your leg would touch the pipe, it would burn you. So they called it leg pipes, but they're lake pipes. This was the very first one about 25 years ago, and it was just to see that I could do something with this scale. And then I stopped and I continued to do what I was already doing with my other models. And then when I got really into it, this scale about eight years ago, I guess, I created this 55 Chevy. Now, some might think, well, this isn't a rat rod because it's too new. It's 50s style, but it's rat rod themed, rat rod inspired. So you see the 1920s and 30s cars, those would be the traditional rat rods, but you can have rat rods up into the 40s and into the 50s. Once you get to the 60s, you got to really know what you're doing in order to have a rat rod themed vehicle. Basically, like I said, just an unfinished hot rod. So it's a rat rod hot rod custom. I shaved the whole body down, shaved the rear end so there's not pointy lights, took the bumpers off, chopped the top, lowered it, and it's pretty much that simple, that basic. But when it sits like that, you can see that it has some kind of some sort of attitude, some sort of hey, don't mess with me. So that was the second car I did, and from that point on, I couldn't tell you what was the third car, fourth car, whatever. It just snowballed. But one of my favorite cars is this Jordan Highway Miniatures 1928 Ford Sedan. This is an older car. It's one of the first, but not the first. But as of rat rod, traditional rat rod, it's probably the first. Kept the roof off, made some wooden slats, and then took a Allied Form flathead 6-cylinder engine, custom headers, custom intake, with the piping for the intake, basically like gas lines and whatnot. Custom grill that kind of sits behind the front suspension, and that grill has a spider-webbed, photo-etched grill from Pit Stop 87, Pit Stop 87, all the way in Hungary. And then I used the stock wheels on the front, just painted them black with some white walls, made a custom frame for it, custom floor pan, used a stock rear end, and the wheels are Trident wheels from their Chevy truck. And then you got the single light back here for the brake light that's connected to the license plate. And some more goodies. So because the exhaust is there, you would naturally have exhaust fumes kind of spreading across the body. So that's what the black there is for. And then more photo etch with the trailing arms in the front. And then, let's see, there is a photo etch shifter that sticks almost, let's see, almost level with the roof. It's a pistol grip or brass knuckles shifter. And then you got the steering wheel from Pit Stop Customs. And then the interior is actually the stock interior. So you got the front bucket seats, and then the rear seats I just broke in half and had part of the rear seat facing down towards the floor pan and the other part covering the rear suspension. But this is one of my favorites. It's the reason I still have it, because it was one of the first. And then the chop, it's chopped, I don't know, 4-5 inches in scale. But in order to keep the chop to look chopped, I painted a silver line around where the actual chop marks were to make it look like weld marks, like you welded the roof back together right there, because that's what you would do in real life. Anyways, next we got my custom VW bug. This is by Wicking, I think. It's a plastic bug, and I don't really like bugs, but I like RatRod bugs. So highway miniature wheels, 2 different styles of wheels. This is from like their pickup, and I think this is from their sedan. I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe it's backwards. But same thing. Pit Stop Customs, trailing arms, chopped the top and extended it because the top is angled. Like the A pillar is angled back and the B pillar is angled forward. You have to stretch the roof in order so you can chop it so it fits. But being that it's a rat rod, I left the styrene still colored, to show you the raw in the chop, basically, so you knew what was going on. Filled in the front wheel welds and cut the front fenders off, cut the rear fenders off and filled those in. And then we got this big old V8 blown engine in the back, which in real life would be way too much horsepower for these skinny little tires, but it looks pretty cool nonetheless. And then the headlights are highway miniatures as well. So yeah, that's my RatRod VW Bug hot rod. This 32 Ford is a recent build. It's by, I don't even know who it's by, but it's the one kit that comes with the people inside. And then it has the 3-carb setup on the flathead. So Ally 4 makes a flathead. Highway Miniatures makes a flathead. And there's only one company that makes a flathead with a 3-carb intake. And whatever that company is this company that I built this 32 Ford with. So I basically painted the fenders and I guess floor pan all yellow, then painted it black and then sanded it down so it looks like the yellow is just fading like crazy. Kept the body alloyed, which is what it is, like metal, because it kind of looked good, like a stainless steel look. And then kept the tire or the rims the same way, but painted the tires and then the white walls, and then you got the Moon Eyes gas tank in the front and the headlights up front. And what I did with this is, you see, the fenders wouldn't sit that high. They're angled really high in the front. And honestly, all I did is I built the whole car, and then I took my finger and just pushed down until those trailing arms down there were laying on the ground. And that gave it this stance and this mean look of a hot rod. This is an old build, 1928, 27 Ford Coupe. I built it to kind of look period correct, besides those photo etch parts, with the old Athearn wheels. Wheels and stance. I wanted the stance to be about the same. But photo etch parts from Pit Stop Customs 87 or 87 Pit Stop Customs. Trailing arms, the hood, not really a hood, but like a grill shroud covering the engine, the straight 6. And then we got the Spiderweb. So this is like the Spiderweb themed car. There's some stuff on this model, I tell you that. These things sit on my display case for too long. It's basically a stock kit, even though this kit didn't come with that straight 6. But you got a Spiderweb themed steering wheel, and then the shifter again is the same shifter that I used for the 38 Sedan. And then the rear lights and license plates. And then one of my other favorite ones next up is this 1932 chopped Ford 5-window. This was looking a lot better a while ago. I took it to, I think, St. Louis the second time, and it fell off of a module, got stuck in between my fold-down seats in my van, and broke completely apart. So I lost the trailing arms. Or no, the trailing arms are there. They're just rusty looking. But I lost the headlights, and I lost some little other details, like the rear license plate and lights. I lost that. I don't know what else I lost. I lost 1 or 2 other things for this. Oh, this whole side had spark plug wires. Kind of look like this side. So I wasn't too happy about that once I realized it, but it is whatever. The car's so small, you can't really tell anyways, unless I tell you what's wrong with it. Next up, this is from Sylvan Kits. It's a 32 Ford Woody. I made into like a surf rat rod kind of. Same thing as I did with the other 32 coupe. I cut the fenders off right there, and then I glued them back on and like angled them down, or angled them up, I guess. So the stance sat lower and the fenders are the same height as the hood. Kind of like how this 32 would be. The fenders would almost be the same size as the hood, and it's not supposed to be like that. Regardless, this whole kit is pretty much stock besides what I did with the fenders. Came with that person, and I just kind of made it into like a surf woody rat rod. Actually, looking at that hood, or sorry, that grill, it's a 33 to 34, not a 32. If you look the difference, I used a 32 grill for that, and you see at the bottom of this one, it's pointed like an arrowhead kind of. So that's 33 to 34 Ford. This I just built out of spare parts. It's another Jordan Highway Miniatures, but Louis casted the engine, casted the body, casted the wheels, the grill, and I just made a real quick little rat rod out of this with a homemade stick shift that sticks way too high, but it's pretty rat rod. It's pretty rat rod style. This I'm pretty happy about. It's a bone shaker, but it's the 187 scale bone shaker that actually probably scales out to 180th scale, because only half of Hot Wheels 187 scales were scaled right. The other half were scaled too big. So I took that and I just built this really crazy rat rod horror kind of hot rod thing out of it. I like it. It's what I'm all about, so I don't care that it's not perfect or whatever. It looks good to me. This little one right here, another Louis casted Jordan Highway Miniatures, casted the body, casted the engine, casted the grill. Then I put the Athearn wheels on it, a custom steering wheel, pit stop customs, taillights, license plate, shifter, and grill. And the exhaust, I don't know where the exhaust are from, but yeah, little tiny rat rod made just to fit the rat rod look. Nothing too special. Stock frame from Louis, and yeah. Here's a special one. I really like this one. This one took most of these cars, so I'm not gonna lie, this car, this car, this car, maybe that car, and a few others only took me a day to make. This one, the Bug, took a day. I build pretty quick because when you're building a rat rod, you don't need it to look great. You're not looking for that perfect show-winning paint job. This one took about 2 days. So this is based off of a real car. I don't know what it's called. I think it's called the Hulk Camino. Somebody really built it. They put this big, huge blower engine on it, then chopped the 59 El Camino to extremes. And this is what the real car, for the most part, looks like. Obviously, it doesn't look exactly the same way. But for the most part, this is what that car looks like. And I really liked what they did with that car to make it a rat rod custom hot rod look. So I kind of wanted to make my own version of it. And I think I did pretty good. It ain't great, it ain't perfect, but it's cool. I mean, it's the only one in the world in this scale, so beat that. Next up, this is a pretty old build. 1927-28 Ford Coupe convertible from Highway Miniatures with a big old blown V8. Everything on this is pretty much stock from the kit except for the engine and these trailing arms and then the rear lights. But the crazy thing about this one is underneath the roof, it's got a metal flake paint job. But yeah, I really like this one. It gives this crazy custom rat rod look, and I've liked this one ever since I built it. Let's go to this one. This is a 1932 Ford Highway Miniatures that Lou Wee casted, and I used a lot of different parts from different things. So I cut the doors open. So see if I can open this door. Yeah, you can see the doors open on this, and on this side the doors open. So doors open, Spiderweb themed. Got a big old V8 engine with 4 intake valves. The whole undercarriage has got Spiderweb themed floor pans and custom frame. Big old oversized tires, big old oversized exhaust. This thing isn't made to look scale perfect at all. It's just made to look, to catch your eye, and it very much does that. Let's go with this. This was another one-day build, another Lou Wee casting of a Jordan Highway Miniatures. Just a simple build, one-day build. Custom frame, custom floor pan. It's just made out of paper, actually. And then you got the seats, the steering wheel, you got the visor, you got this LS engine in it, like an LS1 or LS2 with a custom exhaust. And then everything is stock. I can't believe I put that gas tank on the front. This is like a throwaway kit, like a nothing kit. I don't know why I use that gas tank on the front, but that's cool. Whatever. But same with the exhaust. You got the exhaust crap going down the side of the body. And I don't know where the rear tires are from, but the front are those Athearn tires. And it's just a really cool little rat rod, hot rod. And then, let's see. We got this, another Lou Wee casting. Casted the engine, the grill, and the body, the interior, custom frame, custom headers, poked out the front window, so added like a tilt window, and the wheels are oversized to kind of look toyish, but cool at the same time, modern style, like a rat rod. This rat rod here, I don't really like this rat rod. It's built to look more modern like you see today at car shows. I don't know what they're doing with these new tires, but they're bothering me. I don't like new wheel looks on rat rods. It just seems stupid to me. This one I really like. Another one-day build. Louis casting, 4-door sedan. Got this LS engine in it with a blue fan belt, oversized tires, person driving in it, and the gas tank is huge in the back. But yeah, pretty used the stock frame on that one, and custom suspension on the front to get it to sit so low. But yeah, this is a super simple, clean build, but with the white walls and the white body, it really sets it off. It makes it look cool. This one I really love. I reworked this 28 Ford Woody from Highway Miniatures. I cut a hole in the roof and then had a rollback cloth roof, 4 seats, oversized white walls. The engine is a Louis casted engine with some gas fuel tubes going to the carbs, and then Pit Stop Customs grill, and then it's a Pit Stop Customs steering wheel. You see that steering wheel in there, like a racing steering wheel, and then the shifter, and then I put some surfboards in the back, and then a Pit Stop Customs rear tail light. Yeah, I really like this one. It really has like a Rat Finks sort of style look. I like it. Yeah. Anyways, let's go to this. My first Rat Rod diesel truck. Built this. I don't know if I built this for a competition or what, but I don't know who makes this truck. It's some cheap white truck. I don't know. But stock frame, just cut and modified. The engines are 1/64 scale V8 engines with 4 or 8 intake carbs. Stock grill, custom wheels from 1/64 scale. The sleeper cut like half of it off to sort of match the roof on the cab. We chopped the cab and then put the stacks vertical, not the stacks, the gas pipes vertical, gas tanks vertical. That's what I'm trying to say. We got some spare tires on the back for the front because they're just little cookie cutter tires. And for you non-car people, cookie cutter is like drag style cars. Drag racing cars used little tiny cookie cutter wheels in the front. And it's just laying on the ground. So this is my Rat Rod diesel truck. And then this is a very old build. This is a Wheelworks 1920s stake bed that I made into a Rat Rod. It's pretty old. I've had this for many of years now, but it's pretty much stock besides the front engine and grill. The cab is all stock. I just channeled it over the frame so it sat on the ground, and then I modified the stake bed to sit lower than the suspension allowed. This is a favorite of mine. This is from a video game, Grand Theft Auto 5. They created a 1957 Chevy Rat Rod with a big old engine in the front, and I liked it so much that I recreated it. Another one-day build, but Monogram, I think, makes this one. Or it's what the one I used was a Monogram. The wheels are 1/64 scale Hot Wheels wheels that fit perfect. So it makes you wonder if it was actually 1/64th or not. The engine, I don't remember where I got the engine from. Headlights are oversized, but it's made to be cartoony game style, so it works. This, I don't know what company makes this, but I don't even know what kind of car it's supposed to be, but it's some sort of 30s to 40s lead sled. It had opened rear wheels, well, so I covered those, put skirts on it, lowered it, painted it all black, and then just put the exhaust coming out the side hood. It had sides to that hood, and I cut them off, or I don't know what I did. I did something to where they weren't there so I can stick out the exhaust out of it. But yeah, just a lead sled. But even lead sleds, pre-lead sled is like a rat rod. This here, a beat old 55 Cadillac. Still rat rod because it's beat up, it's old, it's stock with just attitude. So you lower it, make sure the big fat white walls are on there. It's got a chop top to it. And then the grill, I guess it's not really stock, but the grill is 1957 Buick, I think, grill. So even a 1950s car can be a rat rod. You just have to have the theme. You have to have the attitude. You have to have the look. This one really doesn't fit, but I don't care. It's like a 1980s or late 70s Chevy pickup, but rat rod inspired. Today's sort of rat rod inspired. The body was super rough. I didn't care. I left it all super rough. Just painted it, gave it some attitude, put some newer style wheels on it. Big old like 28-inch wheels. And just gave this whole truck a mean attitude. It's called Blackwater. Why, I don't know. But I just gave this truck a mean attitude look and gave it a rat rod theme. Because, why not? The body was horrible and I still wanted to build it. So this one is Allied form. It's 55 Chevy with a camper on the back. Cut the camper apart, chopped the top, chopped the bottom of the camper, and slammed it. Made it so much smaller. That thing probably came up to, where's my finger? Probably came up to here normally. It was way huge. But to fit this chopped custom look, I chopped the camper, chopped the roof, lowered the car, gave the wheels the same blue walls as the paint scheme, and then just sanded down the paint to where the bare metal was kind of showing through. So this is another 50s, has a rat rod inspired look to it, so it can be a rat rod. And then we got this like 1950s tow truck. This is a very old build I built too. Newer style rat rod. You got the newer wheels. You got the exhaust coming up the side of the bed. And there's not much to it. I built this in a day as well. There's really not much to it. It's so simple. I cut the rear fenders off of that bed so I can stick those oversized tires on there. And then you got the